Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd online shop, and I'm going to be creating a 12 by 12 layout featuring the Simple Stories My Story collection, along with some dies from Elizabeth Craft Designs and Tim Holtz. This process definitely takes a few twists and turns, including a major tweaking near the end of this video. I had to do it to make it more me. I wasn't liking what I was seeing, so I had to change things up a bit. If you stick around till the end of this video, you will see everything. Here is what I've selected for this project. I have paper and embellishments from the My Story collection, and I did add some white and gray cardstock. Now, all of these products came from the Scrapbook Nerd online shop, so I'm going to link up the shop along with the products and tools I use in the description box below. This is my jumping off point. It's a Milena Woody Whisk sketch, and you can find this sketch along with many others in the Scrapbook Nerd Friends Facebook group. I'm going to put a link to that group below, and you can also find her sketches on Instagram, so I'm going to link up that as well. So let's get started. You can see I prepared a frame style foundation page in advance with 3 papers. This time I only gutted one of the 3 papers. Usually I got 2 of them. There is a tutorial on my channel where I explain how to do that, so that will be listed and linked below. I showed you the paper that I gutted from the middle layer of the frame. I have one 4x6 photo that's matted. I did my journaling in advance on vellum, on a piece of 8.5 by 11 vellum. So here is the cover sheet to this My Story collection. I do find the color palette in this collection very different and very, very beautiful. So at this point, these are the papers I think I'm going to be using. That kind of minty colored one with kind of jugs of flowers, I guess. And I plan to use both sides of that coral paper. One of them has butterflies, the other one's more of a tone on tone. I have a handful of scraps. I have the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, which is part of the collection pack. And you're going to see in a moment, I do have a tray with other embellishments from this collection. I have the enamel dots. I have the floral ephemera pieces. Actually, I got 2 of those. And I also have the chipboard stickers as well. Now, before jumping in, I do want to have a look at the tools I've selected, because I did select 2 alpha die sets along with a few others. So this first one is from Tim Holtz. It is called the Alphanumeric Stretch Lower and Numbers die set. This one here is from Elizabeth Craft Designs. It's called the Torn Page with Frame Dies. There's a little camera on it as well, which I find really, really cute. This is another alpha one. This is from Elizabeth Craft Design. It's the stitched letters and numbers. And this is another Elizabeth Craft Design one. I don't end up using it. I will put it in the description box below. I selected it for the little tab, but I don't end up using it after all. So I do have the sketch handy, of course. And the first thing I'm going to do is start preparing that border that you see on the left-hand side of the page. So I'm going to be following this sketch loosely. So I am repeating that long banner or not the banner, the long border that you see that goes basically the full length of the page. I did that in that minty colored paper with the flowers on it. For this other piece here, this is the one that I gutted from behind the foundation page. What I want to do with this is create 2 banners. So I'm cutting myself 2 4-inch strips. These measure at this point about 10 inches long, but I do cut into them a bit. And a bit later on, I will put measurements for all of these paper parts on the screen. The first thing I want to do is turn those 2 4-inch strips into banners. Obviously, I could have done it with scissors, but what I'm doing is getting out my hexagon dies. These ones are actually from close to my heart, I think, but I am certain the Scrapbook Nerd has hexagon dies. They have tons of dies in the shop. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm basically just placing that hexagon, the point kind of going up towards the middle of that strip of paper. And when I run it through my die cutting machine, it makes a lovely banner there. It was a little bit too small for my 4-inch strips, but you can see me coming in with scissors and I'm just trimming down the little piece that was left there. So you can see I have two nice banners there along with that strip of paper. So I'm just going to come in with a pencil and I want to trim these down a bit. I want that full length one just to fall within that middle frame there that's about 11.5 inches long. The coral colored banner, I am going to leave that as is, and I just came in and trimmed down the one with butterflies a little bit. I just want it to kind of stagger on top of that coral colored banner. What I'm doing right now is just adding a bit of ink to all of those papers, and the ink I used was Morning Mist by VersaFine Clair. And now what you see me doing is adhering these three pieces on the left-hand side of my page. I will keep my photos separate for the time being because I do want to play around with journaling, title, and embellishments before I actually commit to adhering my photo. So I just sped this adhering part for the banners up quickly just because it was kind of repetitive. Before moving forward, I decide I want to add a bit of ink just in the kind of bottom right area where you see me applying it right now. The ink I'm using is Soft Sky from Stampin' Up, and it must be ancient because you can see I'm working hard to get a little bit of color there. Basically, that's going to be where my title is and my main embellishment cluster. So I thought I would just add a little layer of inking. You could also add tons of mixed media here if that's your jam. Anyway, now would be the time to do it. What I'm going to do right now is get out my journaling and give you an idea where I'm going with that. So you can see I printed it up on vellum already in advance, and you can kind of see I bumped it towards the middle of the page. That's because I want to cut this out with this torn planner page from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And what I want to do is create a layering piece with my journaling. So I have that die out. It's new to me, so I'm kind of excited about using it. And what I'm just going to do is trim down this vellum so that it fits in my die cutting machine. This is a pretty huge die actually, and I don't have any extended plates on my die cutting machine, so I have to kind of, you know, play around with a bit just to make sure the length works for me. I actually end up turning off the camera because when I die cut like this, often the die cutting machine is quite far in front of me when I have the tripod over my head, so I can't really see what I'm doing. And in this case, I didn't want to muck it up because I want the journaling to be straight across, kind of at a 90-degree angle to the vertical edge of this planner page, if that makes any sense to you. So I really want to make sure it's lined up properly. So I permitted myself to turn off my camera and make sure it was lined up properly. And now you can see I have it all cut out, and you will get a nice look at what that's going to look like. The torn edge on this planner page is absolutely beautiful, and you will see it in the still shots closer at the end of this video. So that planner page is way too long, but I'm going to trim it down later on, but I don't want to do it right away because I want to play around a bit with my embellishing and my title, because I want my title to really land on top of that vellum as well. And the reason why I bumped the journaling a bit towards the middle of the page before printing, you can see I have it kind of layered underneath the photo, and I wanted that effect, that layered look. That's why I positioned the journaling a little bit towards the middle of the page. So you can see I'm showing you my title, and I cut it out in advance with my die cutting machine with these two different die sets. The larger die set there, that is from Elizabeth Craft Design. It's called Stitched Letters and Numbers. I cut that out in that orange or coral colored paper, and I backed it with foam adhesive. You'll see that a little bit later on. And for the other words, which are hello and 2023, I used the Tim Holtz Alpha Numeric Stretch Lower and Number die set. Now what I did for those ones is I backed the paper with the Be Creative tape sheets. I'm giving you an example of that right now. Basically what I did was I cut my paper to fit my letters, then I backed the paper in those self-adhesive sheets of paper, and then I ran them through my die cutting machine with my alphas, and out popped these adhesive alphas. It's absolutely fabulous. And I did the very same thing with the word summer, only I used foam adhesive. So that gave me dimensional letters. It's just a great way to use letter dies and number dies because they come out like thickers. It's fabulous. So you can see I kind of positioned that journaling on the page with the title. And once I had an idea where that was going to go, I trimmed the length of that journaling page there. And now I'm placing my title on top of it. So at this point, I am adhering the journaling down, and I'm playing around with the positioning of the photo, of course, to make sure I'm placing the journaling where I want it. And I will keep the title separate for a while, however, because I want to play around with the embellishing first. And you're going to see once I finish kind of playing around with the journaling here, I will get out all of my embellishing as well. Again, when I was adhering the journaling down, I just wanted to make sure the journaling was straight across the page and not accidentally on an angle. I am showing you all of my embellishments. So I basically took those floral ephemera pieces and kind of divided them by color and size. I have the chipboard there, the stickers there, and now what you see me doing is basically creating an embellishment cluster in and around the title and journaling box, but I'm really having fun placing some of the elements underneath the vellum with the journaling, but you can see the embellishment through the vellum. I really, really like that. And some of them I am placing on top of it. So I quite like that effect, actually. I think at this point I want an embellishment cluster up in the top left as well, but it's starting to look a bit busy to me. So what I decide to do is simply adhere my photo down and adhere my embellishment cluster along with the title. Once that's down, I do know I will want to add more to it, that embellishment cluster in the bottom right, and I also want to create an embellishment cluster up in the top left. So what I did was I adhered that blue floral piece underneath the vellum journaling piece, and now I'm adhering the title right on top of the photo. So I start with hello there, and what I want is I want the word summer to kind of overlap it and then just land right underneath my journaling. That's why I played a lot with the positioning of the journaling and the photo before committing both of them to the page. So you can see I'm working on summer backwards, starting at the letter M and working backwards. And it kind of overlaps the word hello, but I can still read hello. And then off camera, you can see I continued with summer and then 2023. Now I want to continue adhering those flowers over there on the right of the title. You can see Chester is here suddenly wanting attention after his nap. Anyway, I'm having a bit of trouble here, but he doesn't stay that long. And now I'm adhering the flowers down. Again, some of them overlapping the vellum, some of them underneath. The small blue one there, I end up popping that up on foam adhesive. I do want more in this embellishment cluster, but what I want to do is put something in the top left, or at least I think I do. So you see me come in with two floral ephemera pieces. I have a little chipboard piece that says smile. I'm looking at the sketch at this point and I see like a tab or a washi tape or something on top of the photo, and I'm thinking smile can repeat that. I'm not really liking it. There's something wrong here, but I'm thinking, oh well, just keep moving forward. So you see me adhering the flowers, and I also put that chipboard piece, but I'm telling you, I don't press hard because I know I'm not really liking it. Now, there is one thing I do want to make. It's that camera. That die set I got out earlier, the torn planner page, in it, there's a little camera, and I love adding cameras on any layout because I find as a scrapbooker, cameras can go anywhere. So that's what I decide to do right now. And I get out the little camera die, and I'm just getting out two different papers. I have the gray cardstock. It's the same paper that's in the foundation page, but I also have some kind of a brushed metallic paper as well, kind of a silver brushed metallic. So this camera comes with the camera body, of course, with a few little add-on pieces. So what I'm going to do is cut the little die out in two different papers, because what I really want, it cuts out a ring, and I want the ring to be different than the gray camera body. So I can technically make two cameras by cutting this out twice. Now what I'm going to do is just simply adhere the little silver ring on top of the gray cardstock camera, and then you're going to see there's a little insert as well, one of the little pieces that cut out in silver, and I'm going to put that just in the middle up by the flash bulb there. At this point, I don't know where to put it. I play around with it a bit. I find the camera super cute. I'm happy with it. I put it within the flowers. I put it underneath. At this point, I decide I'm just going to leave it there for a little while, and then I will come back and decide. So what I'm going to do right now is just add a little bit of foam adhesive underneath some of those leaves, but I'm telling you, I'm not liking the page at this point. I'm adding a few staples right there, but I don't like it. So for this section, I'm going to do it real time. Something was wrong with the layout. So what I did was I ended up removing the chipboard that was here and the two paper flowers. The chipboard easily went back in with the chipboard collection, but the two flowers, the two ephemera pieces, I just tucked them in behind here, behind the vellum. I really liked how that looked anyway. And then what I ended up doing, you can see the camera, I did adhere it here, and I popped it up on foam adhesive. I also tucked in two stickers from the sticker sheet, this bird here, along with a few flowers. And this is a chipboard butterfly. So I really liked that. And I made peace with there being no embellishments here. I still look at it though, and I don't like it. I think it's all okay. The problem is it's very, very busy. The paper's busy, which is probably why I felt like I needed to remove the embellishments from here. And I'm a B-side scrapper. I don't like things being too busy. So I could leave it like it is. It's fine. Or I could scrap it. That seems a little bit excessive. But I could also tweak it. So I went through my collection and I did find this piece of paper here. So I'm thinking if I replace this strip of paper here with this solid, or more or less a tone on tone, I think I'm gonna like it better. I think it's gonna respect my style more than this busy paper. So what that's going to involve is me removing these staples here, but that's no problem. I can do that with a little tool, trimming down a piece of paper, and then adhering it behind here. So let me do that. So I am going to speed this part up considerably. Basically what I'm doing is I removed the staples, I'm inking up another strip of paper, this time the tone on tone, and I'm replacing that printed paper with this mint colored tone on tone. And I like it so much better. That part took me 5 minutes and 2 seconds in real time. I sped it up 20 times. Anyway, if you ever create a layout that you really don't like, here are a few things you may consider. First of all, I always suggest set it aside. Sometimes after taking a break, you come back to it and you end up liking it after all. But if you still don't like it, ask yourself, does it reflect your typical style? Sometimes all it takes is a small tweak, just like what I did here. I simply switched up that busy pattern paper for something more subtle that was simply more my style. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, we would be thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very much. The same thing goes for my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec. Also, make sure you check out the Scrapbook Nerd online shop for these fun supplies and much, much more. Take care, and I will see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.